Australia is very obviously a way of taking some views away from what is actually happening in China with this terrible virus. The fires were intentionally set to kind of distract people from what's going on in the Wuhan province of China, this coronavirus, as they call it. But it's even more than that. The fires were intentionally set to a certain extent. They weren't entirely. There's a theory. If you've heard, obviously you've heard of world dome theory.
Of course I have, but can you explain to our listeners who maybe weren't part of the paths, in the mid-2000s?
Yes. The theory of the world dome theory is it kind of coincides with the flat earthers referring to the world as a snow globe. The world is a snow globe, so it's flat and it has a dome overhead. Flat earth theory is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. World dome theory makes tons of sense, though. So the theory is that the entire world is encapsulated in a dome. There's a dome. So like if you imagine our stratosphere, our atmosphere, the different levels, before you get to space, to outer space, the world is in a thin membrane type dome that kind of resembles bulletproof glass, but not bulletproof glass as we would know it. Not super thick, but a very thin layer. The thinnest layer you can think of. It's obvious some kind of extraterrestrial technology.
Of course.
But what it does is it helps create more of a not the greenhouse effect as we know it, where it's a bad thing. It's a greenhouse. It keeps us at a temperate climate. Whereas if you have too much of the solar flares and stuff, it can cause fires, which is what kind of happened in Australia with the bushfires. So we had a solar flare, an undocumented solar flare that was magnified by this world dome and caught parts of Australia which were experiencing a drought in fire.
You see, folks, where are you going to get this kind of information? He's the best in the business, and we got him right here at Like and Subscribe.
Now, the beginning of the fires, though, that's where it gets interesting, Nick. So that's how the first of the fires started. But then if you notice the pattern of the fires, they didn't just spread in a normal pattern. All of a sudden, they were starting in random spots all over the Australian continent.
Absolutely.
Because they were trying to cover up the potential nuclear war between the United States and Iran, and also this terrible, devastating coronavirus that is occurring in the Wuhan province of China. It's all just a big cover-up.
So is this, in your opinion, is this the virus in China, the corona, would it be part of this global eugenics dehumanization to trim down the world population? And they use the guise of, fake environmentalism. There's too many people. And maybe that's why they're kind of pushing this, the whole Greta Thunberg. We talk about Greta Thunberg and all that, but is it kind of a way to, for you to just accept them killing you? Well, we need to trim things down anyway.
There's no doubt in my mind. And that's why I believe the virus was intentionally started in mainland China, because
highest population.
It's probably very likely to spread towards the west, towards what's the next biggest population in the world?
India,
the Indian subcontinent. There's no better way for them to thin the herd, as they say, than starting in that location. And so there's no doubt in my mind this is part of that.
See, and they've attempted many plagues and stuff in Africa, time and time again. They've tried and tried. Yes. The people there are very resilient, and they essentially make it out okay. But it starts and it kind of ends. But I think they're trying to get Africa's kind of it's its own continent. If you get Asia, you also can get You can go across the Caucasus Mountains and you can make it to Europe. You get that. You get a lot if you started out in Asia. Plus the two biggest population centers, as you pointed out.
Yes. And
you get the most bang for your buck. If you're I'm looking at this from a sadistic point of view, not me, the lover of all humans that I am. They are looking at it as the two biggest population centers. We can take them out real quick.
If you're looking at it like the cabal would, strictly from a world domination point of view, it absolutely makes perfect sense to start it there.
Two economic powerhouses.
Yes.
I mean, I could go on and on. They want rid of. The end game is all of us, folks. We're not the Georgia Guidestones lay it out what they really want.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're not on that list. We're not on the list of people that get to live. Me and Jareth have known about this for so long, and we are here in the nick of time to save you, to warn you. There are certain things you can do to protect yourself, and one of them is my supplements. I sell a line of great supplements, colloidal silvers, that can keep you alive, even if the coronavirus makes it to your town. You take these supplements, you will be immune. But I will write it as a guarantee, these supplements that you can order at lycansubcribe@yahoo.com and protect yourself. But the supplies are limited.
Yes, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And back to the spread of this virus. If you think about it even further, like you said, going from Asia into Eurasia and Europe proper itself. But what else is along the way to that point? Iran.
Yes. Well, it's where East meets West.
Iran is not part of any cabal, any new world order. They're not. This is a way for.
And they don't get a part of global banking.
This is a part. This is the ultimate plan to take out somebody who's been making constant trouble for people for many years, with it looking like a natural event. They're taking out the enemy using this disease, and these fires, and these cover-ups, and they're going to make it look like, oh, it was just an accident. But we know better than that. We absolutely know better than that.
Yep, and all the while, all this can happen, and all this can go down, and then you can have any number, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. They can rig the election whatever way they want because you're distracted about this virus. There's a war. There's all this. It's the perfect storm for the cabal. They can. It's like a master chess player. They can make any move they want now.